My 2010 Dodge Ram, pretty good condition, however, what's that? Oh, don't do it, don't do it! Hello YouTubes, it's about time we had a Ram update. Before I get started, I'm going to give him a much needed clean. See you in a minute. That's better. Right, let me show you what I've done recently and what is yet to come. In case you didn't know, I've been living with a tyre pressure monitor warning light and an oil pressure warning light, which kicked in the engine warning light as well. So I've been living with all these lights until now. No lights except for the door open and the seatbelt, but that's because the door's open and I don't have a seatbelt on. So how did I rectify these little problems? It was surprisingly easy, believe it or not. All I had to do was find $1,500 to get brand new tyres and an oil and filter change. Actually, on top of the brand new tyres, I had to get new tyre pressure sensors, which are surprisingly expensive. They're like $70 each. So that was nearly $300 on top of the tyres. Tyres are pretty good. I went for a sort of middle of the range price-wise. Kumo's 3-season or all-weather tyres, whatever they're called. But they seem to do the job. Not exactly a fancy tread, but so far it seems to be pretty good in the wet. And also took the truck to Canadian Tire to get an oil and filter change because that turned out cheaper than doing it myself. So big truck's running great, sounding great, but there's quite a few little niggly things I need to address this year. Starting with this fuel cap flap. I mean, it opens and closes, but it doesn't quite close enough. And that's just kind of annoying. So I'll probably need to take this hinge apart, find out why it's not going all the way in. Might need a new spring, but that's just a little bit annoying. Next, I've got all sorts of little scrapes that are only going to get worse all the way along. I've got a nasty one here and this one here. These are all me, by the way. These were not hit and runs. I'll take full responsibility for this stupidity. And I'm going to have to get new license plates. I'd love to keep the same number, even though I can't even remember it when someone asks. But I've got a feeling when you replace the plates in Canada, or at least in Ontario, they'll give you brand new numbers. Oh well, maybe they'll be easier to remember. Next. And this has been bugging me for a while. The truck is currently unlocked, as you can see. However, occasionally this door doesn't unlock. It's really frustrating. I can put my hand in from there and grab it and pull it up and it unlocks, and sometimes it will unlock. It always locks, but it doesn't always unlock. So I'm going to have to take the inside of that door apart, find out what's going on. Also on this side of the truck, don't know if you noticed, but this mirror is starting to lose its tint. You see a sort of blue halo all around the outside. Maybe you can't see that, but it's quite distracting. It's kind of yellowy when you see it from the inside of the truck. Unfortunately, these are quite expensive to replace the whole thing, and I'm not sure if I can just get the glass section. I'll need to look that up. Hopefully I can, and then I have to figure out how to get that out without destroying the whole thing. Fun times ahead. And then we come to the big one I've been avoiding for the last couple of years, which is really stupid because if I'd addressed it a couple of years ago, it wouldn't be so bad. Let me show you. I am, of course, talking about rusty rockers, or sills as we call them in the UK. It's so tempting to peel that off, but it would just make the rust so ugly and obvious underneath. So that's on this side. The front's okay, but it starts getting bad a bit there, all the way back, and gets worse. I'm really hoping that it's not rusting from the inside out. And the other side is just as bad. Yep, just as bad. I have some work ahead of me. Again, it doesn't really get bad until about there. I mean, it's even worse underneath. But I don't see that from here, so just ignore that. I'm just kidding. But I'll need to take these off to get that done. Which is fine, because I need to repaint those brackets that hold this on anyway. But that's okay, because if you recall, again, I got myself an 80-gallon compressor, which is specifically for doing big paint jobs. I know that's not going to be a big paint job. Big enough though, and I wouldn't want to do it with spray cans. Spray cans are messy, expensive, and just not a very nice finish. So that's a job for summer. I do have some interior work to do as well, so let me show you that. This driver's seat is a complete disaster. Underneath this is completely gone. You can even see a ridge there where the material is just cracked open and separated. Nasty one there. All the other seats are fine because they don't get used nearly as much as the driver's seat. Good news is my wife has offered to repair this somehow. If I can find the same sort of material, it doesn't have to be exact, but close enough, then she will repair that. And it is just the base. This side is fine, that bolster's okay. So that's a good. The other thing inside here is my ancient my really old stereo system. It's a Uconnect model. I think a lot of the Chryslers had them. It sort of works, but the touch screen does not work. So I can use it if I plug in like my iPhone with an auxiliary cord and I mount my iPhone up here. That's fine. I can use that for Spotify and Google Maps and stuff. But I can't decide if it's worth replacing this. Even a second-hand used version of this stereo is $250 in Canada. All I really want to do is change the time for daylight savings. That's really it. So I could try and get one of those Chinese jobs for about $400 or $500, but then you've got to try and connect your steering wheel controls and your backup camera, and it's not worth the hassle. So I think I'll just leave that. So all in all, not a huge list, but I do have to point out that it's only because of you guys that I've still got this truck. If you remember back to when a timing chain kind of snapped at the front, I was going to just get rid of the truck and get something else. Couldn't really afford to get something else. You guys convinced me to fix the top end of the engine, which I did fairly successfully, I may add. But again, only because you guys advised me on what to do and gave me that encouragement to carry on forward. So it's almost back to being brand new again. Obviously that paint at the bottom needs addressed, it's pretty bad. And a couple of interior stuff, but I'm going to keep this truck until it dies or I do. That sounds really morbid, but that's the state of play. I better get started. As you know, I've got plenty of other projects to be getting on with, but we have a fairly decent road trip planned for summer, and we have friends and family coming over Actually, they're just family. Anyway, we've got family coming over. I want to make it all nice and perfect for them. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Just an update. Nothing really substantial in this video. I do apologise. Sorry, I'll get back to work. Mumble, mumble.